KXII-TV, broadcasting live for all of Texoma. This is First News at 6.
Trusted to serve and protect, now a former Grayson County deputy indicted for sexual assault. Thanks for joining us tonight at 6.
Let's get started, though, with some breaking news. An escape at the Atoka County Jail. It happened about 20 minutes ago. Details are still coming in, but we do know the escapee is Marshall Hogan. You might remember the name. Hogan was arrested on January 6th for stealing a deputy's patrol car, leading lawmen on a chase and setting fires to cover his tracks. No word yet how he escaped, but it was discovered during a head count around 5:40 this evening. Of course, the county jail is downtown, so anyone in the area needs to be on the lookout. We'll be updating this story as details come in.
Also tonight, turning to some severe weather across the area today.
Alan Crone, busy out there. What's the latest?
Let's head to the radar. Has dropped to 12 with the next red. Composite thunderstorms now are developing again right across the Red River Valley into the Marshall and Love County vicinity. Severe thunderstorm warnings do continue at this hour for Love County. About 20 minutes ago, emergency management officials and law enforcement indicated some rotation and the possible funnel with this cell, which is now just to the north and east of Marietta proper. It's right through here. Storm spotters are watching it carefully, nothing on the ground, but you may have heard the sirens blowing across some of these small communities just to the west of Marietta, and that's the reason why. There is no tornado warning, but a severe thunderstorm warning continues for the Love County area. This cell is going to move into Marshall County soon. Again, it's moving east, slightly northeast at about 30 miles per hour. Lots of hail being reported by this and frequent cloud-to-ground lightning. Again, movement now continues to be east-northeast at about 25 to 30 miles per hour. Severe thunderstorm warnings continue for the Love County area. A tornado watch has now been issued for the majority of Texoma until midnight. More on the weather soon.
A former Grayson County Sheriff's deputy accused of sexual assault now facing arrest after a grand jury indictment yesterday. Jennifer Lindgren's in Sherman with the story.
30-year-old Mark Garcia had worked for the Grayson County Sheriff's Office for 5 years when the allegations of sexual assault first came down. Yesterday, a grand jury decided that there was enough evidence to formally charge Garcia with rape. It was at a party at this Walnut Street home on September 18, 2005, that a woman told Sherman police Mark Garcia raped her while she was asleep from alcohol intoxication. Police opened an investigation, conducting numerous interviews and collecting evidence from the home. At the end of October, the results of that investigation went to the district attorney, and just yesterday, Garcia was charged with the sexual assault.
The grand jury, which is an impartial panel of people, has decided that there is enough evidence to go to trial in this case.
Shocking news for those who live near him.
You know, for the most part, it's a real quiet street, and I'm a little bit shocked by the news to hear something like that.
Brittany Armstrong moved to Walnut Street in December and wasn't familiar with the allegations. But others we spoke with who knew Garcia, including those who remember a party that night, say they can't believe that this neighbor could have committed such a crime. We left messages for Garcia and his attorney today that were not returned.
Honestly, it makes me a little uncomfortable to know that I'm that close to something like that.
No word yet on when the arrest warrant will be issued for Mark Garcia. We spoke with the district attorney's office today, and they say that these things can take anywhere from a few days to a few weeks. Reporting in Sherman, Jennifer Lindgren, First News.
Within days of those rape allegations, Garcia was fired from his job as a deputy over a personnel issue. The sheriff's office is conducting a separate investigation into that matter.
Today, another inmate is on the outside of the Bryan County Jail when he should be in. But the jail says this time they did everything they were supposed to. Chris Sadeghi is live outside the jail with the story. Chris?
Shannon, for the second time this week, authorities are trying to track down an inmate that left the Bryan County Jail. However, this time it wasn't an escape, but a mistake that allowed him to walk out the door. Jason Wayne Payne was booked into the jail yesterday after leading OHP troopers on a pursuit that ended near Kennefic after he tried to ram a patrol car with his vehicle, a charge that would have carried a very high bond, but that charge was left off the charge sheet. The reason why? OHP was going to wait since outstanding warrants in Alabama would require Payne to be held in the jail anyway. The problem is the jail never was notified of a warrant, and with evading arrest and DUI, the most serious charges, Payne bonded out around midnight last night for a mere $1,900, a very low bond when you consider the accusations, but with no warrant, the jail says they followed proper procedure.
Driving under suspension, speeding, transporting an open container and eluding an officer is all that was on the officer fill-out sheet. We weren't even advised anywhere to book him on any kind of assault charge.
Payne will be booked on those charges when he is taken back into custody. As for the warrant, the jail says they didn't receive it until late morning of today. Also, that warrant is out of Alabama. The warrant is for receiving stolen property. Reporting live in Durant, Chris Sadeghi, First News.
All right, thank you, Chris. Here's a look at Jason Payne. He's believed to be in a red Dodge pickup. The OHP not sure where he may be headed, but say he should be considered dangerous. Human remains discovered last week in Pushmataha County have been identified as those of missing teenager Jeffrey Benn. Last week, a logger found several bones deep in a wooded area northeast of Pushmataha County near Clayton. Today, the OSBI notified Jeffrey's family. They positively identified his remains. The 18-year-old left his Clayton home back on January 29, 2001, headed for a party. That was the last time his family saw him. We'll have more on this story, including reaction from family and investigators tonight on First News at 10.
A 2-year-old child in Sherman recovering after being bitten by her babysitter's dog. This is a German Shepherd mix actually bit that child at this home. The dog did the damage 1 week ago, now being held in quarantine. The 2-year-old girl received 20 stitches on her face. The owners are still deciding whether to sign that dog over to the city.
If they do opt to try to reclaim it, the city of Sherman, we've already investigated and we've decided on our part that we will file vicious charges due to the severity of the bite to the young little girl that got bitten by this dog.
Right now, Animal Control is holding 10 dogs in quarantine for biting people. Those numbers are high, but they say normal for the springtime.
2 men from Texas are in the Love County Jail tonight after leading authorities on a marathon high-speed chase. Derek Cody is in our Ardmore studio. Derek, why did they run?
Authorities still aren't certain, but it likely had to do with stolen property and drugs found in their rental car. The chase started way out in Cotton County near the Walters area, and for the next 100 miles, the 2 men led authorities through Jefferson County, a small part of Carter, and Love County, with speeds topping 150 miles an hour. Near Marietta, Love County deputies had to use spike strips to stop the Chrysler rental car the men were driving, but the suspects weren't done there. They took off on foot, tried to steal a woman's car, and eventually tried to hide in her attic, where lawmen finally caught up to them.
And one of the subjects she was on the phone with called 911 and said that they just broke in her residence, and we found them up in the attic.
Kevin Ray Edson and Richard Gazzola are in the Love County Jail tonight, charged with possession of drugs and paraphernalia, burglary, attempted auto theft, and eluding an officer. 9 different agencies assisted on the chase last night. Shannon.
All right, thank you, Derek. Charges for the 2 men are also pending in Jefferson and Cotton counties.
A history of violations came to light in the second day of testimony in the sentencing trial of Miroslav Uzwiak. Emotional testimony came from the owner of CV Trucking. She told jurors about a multitude of problems with the company's 4 big rigs, including the truck driven by Uzwiak. That truck would cross the Highway 75 median in September of '04, killing 10 people in 2 separate vehicles. Prosecutors presented cell phone records today, though, that showed the Polish immigrant was on his phone for most of his 38-hour run from Chicago to Dallas. Uzwiak faces up to 20 years in prison for 10 counts of manslaughter. And the fallout from that accident could save future lives. Road crews were hard at work on Highway 75 today, placing concrete barriers in the southbound lanes at FM 902. The barriers will protect workers who are getting ready to start construction. But just to the north, permanent barriers are being constructed to prevent accidents like the Uzwiak case.
An Ardmore business owner arrested on drug charges. Lee Williams, the owner of Ashley's Discount Furniture in Ardmore, faces charges for possession of a controlled dangerous substance and intent to distribute marijuana. The arrest came as the result of a search warrant at his home. 2 others were also arrested. His son Scotty Williams and Melanie Jackson face possession charges. The Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics led that investigation.
A body found this weekend in the Red River, likely an accidental death. Autopsy reports showed there were no signs of foul play. A boater found 44-year-old Jesse Davidson of Tioga in the river near the I-35 bridge. His family hadn't seen him since March 18th. The OHP says it's possible he died on shore, then recent rains elevated the water, sweeping his body away.
Coming up, our phones haven't stopped ringing. Viewers wanting to help a high school student battling cancer, what you can do a little later. And after months of political pressure, baseball opens its doors to investigation. That story later in sports.
But next, thousands gathered to honor an Oklahoma firefighter killed in the line of duty. That's coming up on First News at 6.
Ray Barnes is going out of business. If you didn't hear me before, Ray Barnes is going out of business. Prices are slashed and everything must go. Sofas, love seats, bedding, tables, lamps, mirrors. Get here fast because we are clearing out. We can't hold out for much longer. Ray Barnes has got to go, and so does his furniture. The best furniture for the best prices. Our loss is your gain because Ray Barnes is going out of business.
Watching KXII's First News at 6 with Matt Brown. Sports with David Reed and Alan Crone with First Weather.
Flags flew at half-staff across Oklahoma today in honor of a volunteer firefighter that many are calling a hero. 3,000 people from across the state and as far away as New York gathered in Chickasha to honor Destry Horton. The Rush Springs volunteer died Friday from burns he suffered fighting this blaze near Duncan back on March 1st. Horton was trying to save the life of a fellow firefighter when he was overcome by a wall of flames.
An accident in Sherman today pinned one person and sent 3 to the hospital. Around 2 o'clock, a car heading east down Lake Street failed to yield and T-boned a pickup traveling north down Montgomery. Both drivers were taken to Wilson and Jones. A passenger in the car was trapped for some time, then taken to the hospital as well. Authorities say the driver of the car was also ticketed for driving without a license or insurance.
Well, terms like funnel clouds being used in parts of Texoma. Some concerns out there tonight, Alan.
We've had a couple of tornado warnings earlier. Right now, severe thunderstorm warnings for Love County, Monte County, and Cook County. A tornado watch for just about the entire area until midnight. More on the weather soon.
He's on the road again, and he's stopping at Choctaw Coliseum. Willie Nelson, Sunday, April 2nd at 8 p.m. Don't miss Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain, Always on My Mind, and all the Willie Nelson classics live. $25 general admission, $50 floor seating. Tickets at Choctaw Gift Shop by calling 1-800-595-4849.